Whoa, okay. Well,
Hold on.
well, everybody, welcome to the FTI podcast. With us this evening, I'm not sure where he went in between the start of the show and the intro being over, but Jason Flory is with us this evening.
This ought to be good when he gets back.
But I do want to make an announcement since we're waiting on Jason to get back on. We would like to welcome Apex Designs as one of our new show sponsors and also a sponsor of Ohio Motorsport Photography and from the infield. So welcome Apex Designs.
Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, thank you. We really appreciate it. And, we appreciate anyone who will support us along the way, whether it's buying pictures, watching, commenting, asking questions, making fun of Dan, all of the above.
You'll get more chances to here in a couple weeks. He just saw a message. I'll see what he says. Anyway, how was your week?
Awful. We have state inspections this week, so.
All right, there he is.
Yeah, it made me download the app.
Oh, there's an app?
Yeah, there's an app.
Yeah, that's what Lance used last week.
What are you guys all iPhone users or something?
Yeah, it must be. Probably it was like kicked me off. I thought, shit, I thought this was.
Dan, are you an iPhone user?
Yeah, but I'm on my computer right now.
Oh, see, there's no app on the Google store.
Yeah, imagine that.
But I'll say it again. With us this evening, Jason Flory of Wayne County Speedway, the man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah, that's nice things to say. I've been called lots of things. I don't know about a legend, maybe in my own. Yeah, I appreciate the time, guys.
We appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, we appreciate it. You're our, as we go through our line of, guests on the show, something that we started at the tail end of last year. We've had a lot of 410 sprint car drivers. We had a team owner, and we had a late model, modified driver, and now a Trek owner / promoter. So this is exciting.
You guys are moving along here.
It used to just be me and Kyle talking about whatever race happened that week and just kind of stare. Did you like that one?
Yeah, it's it's cool to have Jason on here, and like we said, a lot of the previous guys have all said nice things about Wayne County. I know Zane said he plans to come to Wayne County here. He hasn't been able to race there. Every time he's gone, it's rained out, so he's looking forward to make his travel over to here. And Ricky and Leighton both said Wayne County is their favorite track, so it's cool to have you on here. And there's a lot of big fans of you racer wise.
What about you, Burkhart? Who's your favorite racetrack? Where's it at?
I have to say Wayne County. Yeah, he does. I knew he was going to too. And I guess no one really asked me. I mean, I love going to Attica Fremont to get some other laps as a racer. Jason, I know you know that too, how that feels. But Wayne County it's always been my local track growing up for 20 some years now, and going there, and it's kind of like high school football to me. When you get there, it's just the Saturday night lights you like being at, and love going to every time.
Yeah, the thing with Wayne County is I've been going there since, oh my goodness, I'm old, so probably late 80s or something. And I never liked the place. I'll be honest with you. I was like, if I ever got a hold of this place, I'm going to bulldoze it down. I didn't run good there as a late model driver. I didn't like it. And then so when I got the opportunity to come in and promote, because that's what I wanted to do after racing, I knew all the changes I wanted to make. I was like, I'm never going to let race cars run the bottom of this place, because it was always boring. Like for me, sprint car racing with Kemenal and Rob Chaney, those are the people I watched growing up. And so it was just drag strip, paperclip, turn and go. It's like watching Martinsville on dirt. And I was so bored. And I thought, man, if I ever got this place, I'll bank this thing and these cars will be running the guardrail. Well, hey, 12 years later, We're on the guardrail, mud flying, and I love it. I love the speed that place brings. I love when there's moisture in the air and you get the little vapor trails off the wings. Like those are the nights I really enjoy.
Yeah, I think that's something that everyone's mentioned too, like how the track itself has progressed over the amount of years and how much better the track has been, even the last 5 years that I've known it, racing on it, just from start to finish. And, hell, sometimes it seems like we're going faster in the feature, and sometimes we are, and it's real crazy. And it's, there's not very few, if any, other tracks like that. And I think, it's starting to become more of the well-known tracks in Ohio.
I think so. I get that a lot. Like we went through a transitional period. Like I do dirt for a living. Like, so I work in construction and things too. One thing I've learned is you can move, you can build roads, you can do ditches, you can do all these dirt work, but you don't know shit about racetracks when you do that work. You come in, it's a totally different deal. And there's a learning curve for me. I knew what I wanted. I just didn't know how to get it. And so it took me a while, but we keep very good notes, do's and don'ts. The don'ts is a bigger book than the do's. But you talk about the feature going faster. Like that's the track prep and the magic that we put into that place. And, I love it. I love Wayne County's got like all racetracks in Ohio above or out, I'd say I-70 have this silty clay. It's got sand in it. It's got topsoil. No really pure clay. And so that's good and bad, right? So we go down south and we get the red clay, but it generally gets one groove or it'll turn black and slick or it'll take rubber real easy. Wayne County doesn't take rubber at all. It's got that sand in it. It's abrasive. It's always going to be peeling like onions. And so we add some chemicals, obviously, and it brings that moisture back when the sun goes down. It might be blowing dust in hot laps or even in the heat race early, and I'll be getting a little nervous, but I know, I check the moisture in the air, and I tell everybody, if you get in your car for feature and there's a little dew on the roof, you better freed it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know every time I leave, I got to turn the defrosters on. I'm not seeing out of the parking lot.
Yeah, that's the downside. Let's talk a little bit about the demographics over there. So we're nestled in that little tiny little corner of Carr and McQuaid Road, and it's kind of cool. So you roll in that place, there's Amish buggies rolling in past you, and like 27 acres right there. The farmers don't want to give us any land. People build around us. We're kind of, I don't know. It's not a fairgrounds. So that's always a good thing because we can control our own destiny with that. But like, it's kind of cool when you get the campers in there and it's just that atmosphere of being like so tight and small and personable. It's growing pains though. Like, so you can't run big shows or you require the neighbors to help you. But like, yeah, the parking lot and the track are so close. And if you get an east wind, yeah, that's always bad. Just don't. I thought about putting a car wash in. I'll be honest with you. I thought, man, the moneymaker here is the car wash.
Yeah, you get one of them, the new subscription services, weekly fans, they have a, season pass and a season car wash pass. And
you would think I could get a car wash or a detail place to be a big, huge billboard there, but it's not as easy as you think.
Yeah.
But that was always my dream. I thought, man, I'll corner the market. I'll have a dirt track and then I'll have a car wash right next door. I'll show you how to print money.
Yeah.
No, I hate this. I'm okay with, so people always say, like, there's times where it's dusty. All dirt tracks have been dusty, and I hate it. I'm a big critic to myself. But you guys come into the races, you guys all been there enough, and Burkhart travels around and sees different tracks. Is getting dirty, as in mud and big chunks of dirt, that's cool. I can do that. It's that layer of just dust that falls on you, and you can't see. If you can't see, then I feel like I cheated the fans, and I never liked those nights.
See, we always make a joke, Kyle and I, that we're in the infield all night, so we don't see any of the dust. We don't get covered in any dust, Right. So all night,
you get outside of the track, you're just surprised. You're like, "Whoa, where did all this come from?"
I'm like, why?
But the good thing about there, it's so light. It's light enough though. Once the cars get running, it basically almost self clears.
Oh yeah,
because it's just a super light amount, and it's like you said, it's always visibility. At the end of the night, I mean, as long as you got your visors cleaned and you're not fogging up, I mean, it's pretty clear seeing too. So it is really nice from a racer perspective too.
We put you media guys in the infield on purpose. So every story you write, the track was perfect and there was no doubt. Right?
Yeah.
The media guys are in the infield or they're in the tower. They're never going to sit in turns 4 or turns 1. I promise you, I'll never set media in those turns. I'm not stupid.
Yeah. You said one thing kind of, and not to go too much in depth with it, but just some stuff. You talked about racing. Not many people, I don't know how many people, I guess, know that you were actually a racer, no matter what they seem to think or believe. But tell some people about that, just got to learn that fact about you.
Yeah, so I raced for almost 20 years. So I started in the early 90s, and I was a late model racer. I started out in street stocks back then. That was the class, and raced late model since 2000 and was able to get a track championship at Wayne County in 2006. And so there was a while, like I said, I hated that place. We drove all over. We'd run back then it was called KC. We'd run that one year. I would just try to travel around. Like I've been to Florida Speedway 4 or 5 times. Just try to travel. But, that get expensive, and, it's hard to get help to go with you on the weekends. And as your help got families and they can't go away. So then you start running close to home, and you learn to like the home track, man, because it's in your backyard. And so I think traveling, though, made me come back and be a better racer, or I just finally got better equipment. It was never the talent, right? It was nobody. I got friends that always tease me. They say, yeah, you haven't won in so long. Cars were different then. But I raced for a lot of years, and that's where my love for promoting came. I started to not really pay attention to the racing as much as I did, and I'm not going to call out any racetracks, but like we'd go places and the water truck would be just starting to water the track as we were rolling into on a Friday or Saturday. And I'm like, what is going on here? Like, I felt like I could do it better. I felt like if you put passion into it, and it isn't always about money. Let's get one thing straight. Racing isn't always about money. There's a lot of passion and hours of work, labor of love. And Wayne County is one place that I've dumped labor of love in the truckloads. And you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't know where to spend it, you could still have the same place when you're done. And it still takes people. And so I feel like that's my advantage over some of these guys. There's always going to be somebody that has more money than you, especially in this industry. And because I work a regular 8 to 5, and but I work another 10-hour days over there every day after work to try to make it what it is. So when people get hard on like Facebook, like when I raced, Facebook wasn't around. I think MySpace. You guys are probably too young to know what MySpace is.
Oh no, I had a MySpace. I loved MySpace.
Yeah, so we go back that far, right? And before that, it was remember the old AOL, the do. Remember that crazy shit?
Yeah.
So,
AIM chat and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, AIM was. I spent too many sleepless nights on AIM chats, and
yeah, those were days where if you had a bad night at the racetrack, though, you just packed it up and went home. You didn't make a big scene, and like I left many racetracks over the years where maybe it was just too rough, or maybe it just wasn't my cup of tea that night. But we certainly didn't have the ability to go on the keyboard, and because no racetrack wants it to be bad. Like I love it when people accuse me of doing something on purpose. Oh, he fucked it up on purpose. Oh yeah, because there's so many benefits from getting bashed on the internet. Most ignorant people.
And you love having to give ticket refunds, and you love having because that's so much fun.
Oh, so we'll use that first high limit show. It was a September deal. Remember, it was snowing and sleeting, and I think we had all the seasons in one day, and it rained, and so Sweet calls it, and man, you got no choice but to give money back. And he's like, you can't give this money back. We ain't got enough. I go, listen, if you didn't bring enough, we're in trouble. So I unfortunately had enough cash on me. But, people would have burnt the place down. You're going to keep their money for a year? Like, that doesn't work. And I don't like that either. Listen, if you take their cash, you better give them their cash back. That's your word is all you have. I don't care what anybody says about contracts and legal lawyers. Piss on that. A man is only as good as his handshake and his word. If he doesn't have that, a piece of paper's trash.
Yeah, so that's true. Yeah, and one thing we talked, kind of rolling into that, is a bunch of guys mentioned, and we've talked about a few times, is the Speedway show, right? It was real rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked about a lot of people. Yeah, we all talked about it, and that talked about on here. And I mean, everybody had good things to say, because it was gnarly. It was crazy. I mean, a lot of us, that was probably the most fun race I had there all year, because it kind of leveled the playing field out for me. I just kind of keep it straight, and it actually turned out to be a pretty amazing race, honestly. With it did get a little choppy, but you just had to steer away out of that a little bit.
I was going to say, talking about passion and trying to give the best. I mean, that night, working the track as long as you guys did to put on that show.
Because they didn't stop the whole time. I mean, we kept having trailer meetings, and They had official meetings, and the whole time they're still running and cutting the track, and then all the drivers are like staring up there watching it, then running back to see what the officials are saying. And I mean, everybody was ready to race besides a select few. And you know, we opened the gate though. You know,
that was man, I'll tell you, I felt like if there was anytime the drivers were trying to unionize, I'll use the word unionize, but like there it is. So we're running Ohio Sprint Speed Week. If we're going to cancel, we cancel in the morning, right? And we all agreed as the officials of the series and myself, we're going to do this. I knew I could get the track ready. We'll burn all the fuel we got, you know, and I just didn't like, so I was getting information from I'll just burn it down, right? So that the All-Stars were like, yeah, we're going to race. I'm going to make them race. And then the drivers, you know, Dan Dietrich, we'll just call it out, you know, and he was having a fit. And I don't know Danny. And listen, he left and he's like, go wherever you want to go. But like, I guarantee you, I paid the $10,000 to win. They cut the laps. I didn't. And they made it points optional for their drivers. The sport of sprint car racing that night, to me, got as soft as it could, and it proved to me that the series don't have any control over these drivers. Now, listen, I'll get burned up for this, but the old days is you just suck it up, big boys, and let's go racing. You know, Courtney comes out, he don't say shit, he wins, he takes the 10 grand, right? He's happy, he wins. You know, nobody flipped. There wasn't one single car flipped in that racetrack that night. Not one single car flipped, right? So go as fast as your ability can take you.
Yeah.
I like it because just what Burkhart said, even the playing field, you take a guy like Burkhart, you put Moomaw, bring Sheldon in. I promise you Sheldon balls up for that thing. You know what I mean? The fans get cheated every week that they go to a racetrack and that track is smooth, slick, and slow, and somebody calls it a good race. They're fucking stupid, and sprint car racing isn't made to be slow, slick, and follow the leader. Like, if I don't know how you can charge $25 and somebody watch a race and nobody passed, and they go, man, that was a great show. Well, you must have got drunk. That was the only thing I can think of. You know, I feel like the fans deserve to see a good race, and sometimes it's going to be choppy, but you know what? There's always a groove that isn't, and the traction is where the rough is.
Kyle and I have said this multiple times about another local Ohio track that seems to be slicked off, slow, follow the leader every night that we've been there. You know,
yeah,
we won't say any names.
Yeah, I'm not here to bash anybody myself. I look at racing as it's an entertainment. Okay, racing's great. Burkhart spends money on cars. You guys cover media. But back in the day, you know, nobody, and you look at the 80s and even we'll go 90s, like nobody had tracks like this. People used a disc and they cut their racetracks and the promoters are getting cheap. The long and the short of this is promoters have gotten cheap. Hey, if we don't cut it, we don't got to spend diesel fuel money. We don't have to do this. Bullshit. You're charging more than you've ever charged. The expenses are up too. I won't say nothing. I mean, insurance just jumped 15%. Diesel fuel's higher than ever has, but still, the quality of their show. And so if Burkhart's true and he says people really like Wayne County or people want to come and race it, I feel like it's because this is my theory, guys, and take it for what it's worth. It's my job to give a racer a track that he can start 10th and drive to the front if he has a good car. If I don't have a track where he can pass, then why the hell does he want to come? Because only one guy's going to start on the front row, right? I mean, I just feel like a racer wants an opportunity to race, and if you give him that, it's his job to do his part. And I think I believe that's why Wayne County has gotten better reviews, because the racing has been so good and guys can race on it.
And besides just the sprint cars too, like, you know, take the longer shows, the 5 and 6 car shows as you want for some people. But like for me, I don't get to watch much racing anymore, you know? Yeah. So I used to hate street stocks, mini stocks. I'm telling you, every time we do get loaded up, I sit down in turn 1 and watch the mini stocks 3-wheel it, because it blows my mind. And there's no way I think I couldn't do that. So it's nice.
One of my
like that
favorite cars to photograph. It's the 420 green Sunfire, because every time in 1 and 2, he is 3-wheeling it, you know. So yeah.
So it makes all the racing way better. I mean, in my opinion, especially as the track gets better and better as it goes. I mean, I'm sure the other series drivers would say the same.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I say it all the time. People think that I'm just, you got buddies in that class. But if you stick around for the 4-cylinder class, they will go door to door, 3 wide for 12. A lot of times there's not even a caution. And it's some of the best quote racing, right? So maybe it's not 110 miles an hour with a wing on it, but it's going to give you some really good racing. And I don't know. I just feel like it's my job to give everybody a nice place. I miss it. Listen, I miss it. There'll be a night where, you know, I want to go bury my head in the sand. I'll try something different, and I know better. But, you know, I read something on the internet where I think I'm going to reinvent the wheel. I'm an idiot, too. We all try shit. I mean, Burkhart's tried shit on the sprint car that don't work. And I mean, so
I ruined
a couple times.
couple times.
I ruined an entire night of pictures when we went to Summit Indoor because I saw a Facebook video before the event and changed settings, and the entire night almost everything's useless. So yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah, I don't know. Racing's a lot of fun, and I think if we all learn, you're going to work on Monday, and we're all not going to be Tony Stewart or Jeff Gordon, but it's competitive, right? Everybody gets the competitive juices, and that's what drives us. But like, it's kind of fun to hang out before and after when guys are just normal and you can talk and bullshit, and afterwards hang out. And I don't know, that part of it is what I really enjoy the most. The racing itself gets kind of stressful. It always does, because there's always going to be somebody. There's only going to be, we have run 5 divisions. There's 5 people that are going to leave that are not going to cuss me out. Everybody else is optional that night, you know. And but I really enjoy it. Until I don't, you'll know when I don't, because I just won't do it anymore. I mean, I'm in it. I love it. I look forward to it every year. It gets me motivated. This year's going to be a little different, right? So the All-Stars are out, and in sprint car racing, I mean, we're all talking sprint car racing here, but like with the All-Stars getting bought out in 2 national traveling series is like, so I guess Aaron Fry's trying to step up and make fast the new All-Stars. I don't know. You know, we can't really say if it's going to work or not until we get to the end of the year, but I don't know. We've got quite a few. I mean, I think we got 5 of them things, don't we? I think we got 5 or 4.
Yeah,
so.
we got a lot of fast races. That was one thing guys kind of said too. I want to hear your opinion on a lot of drivers, you know, and us kind of felt too, kind of in that deal. It kind of felt Ohio almost suffered a lot from a bigger series for like little local guys like me, and that come to local tracks every weekend, being able to be on a bigger stage and, you know, do something for sponsors, you know. And it's cool to see all the local tracks and promoters get together and do that. How did that whole situation play out? Kind of how did you see it between the All-Stars and High Limit, and, you know, how the Speed Week went? What do you kind of think on all that? You don't have to say anything to get you in trouble, but.
Well, that was before Christmas. I remember there were so many meetings. I got to meet some promoters that I didn't know. Like, I didn't know Charlie Vesta from Atomic, and I knew Dave Willoughby, but I haven't talked to Dave in a long time. And so we all got together, Dave, Charlie, myself, John Bores, Rex Lejeune, Rich Farmer, I think, we all got together. And there was a lot going on. Like, there was some people wanted Aaron to take the reins because I guess High Limit called Aaron and said, hey, we'd like you to run Speed Week. And then you had a couple other guys that took an opportunity. They wanted to start a series and do this. And I just felt like maybe we should just wait. I felt like if they were going to run against each other, if we couldn't come to common ground, you were going to have this series and Aaron Fry's series going to try to battle it out in Ohio. And nobody was going to win. And so I made it clear that Wayne County Speedway was like, listen, I didn't want to be in the middle of no gunshots, you know, and like, maybe 2024 was a year where we just step back and see how it plays out. You didn't know what was going to happen, and we still don't, right? The High Limit's got a lot of old All-Star drivers on it. Are they going to travel out to the West Coast? I don't know if they all go and they all follow it. Who knows? But Aaron's the best chance we have because he was already established, right? He was already running some bigger shows. I'm not sure he was ready to step up and pay more and do more, but this is a transitional year for all of us. I felt like we should have still scaled back. I think every local, so Attica and Fremont jumped up and paid more money on their weekly programs. And I know Burkhart probably loves that. We're going to do something. It'll come out next week. I've been waiting. I don't want to just dump news and then just it rained for 2 weeks and nobody remembers it. So I kind of be more strategic about my releases. But we're going to do something for our sprint cars because we have to. We have to because everybody else has. So as the bar gets raised, we've got to come up too. But like, let's be real though. If I charge $20 for you guys to get into Wayne County Speedway to watch Burkhart Moomal and Jordan Ryan and who knows, all those guys that run fast, let's say that they're there anyway, right? And then the fast comes to town and we're going to charge $25 because that's what everybody's agreed to do on the fast shows. This is what we're going to do for Speed Week. if we don't get any more talent, so if the talent pool doesn't get better, is it legit? Is Speed Week legit if it's the same guys running on every Saturday and Friday at Attica, Fremont, Wayne County, Atomic, wherever? Like, is it legit Speed Week? Is if we don't have a Tyler Courtney or Justin Peck, and those guys involved in it, does it feel the same? Is it the same? I don't know. I don't. Well, 2024. I thought maybe we should just wait and see, but everybody wanted to make sure we did something. But maybe I'm too conservative, but I don't know. I just felt like pushing the barrel here was. We could get pie in our face, right? This could all backfire. Like the fans don't acknowledge Speed Week because there's no All-Stars no more, and that goes deep.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I'm not a Debbie Downer. I just think that the cost of racing is so high. To go throw more money at something and hope it sticks to the wall I'm not the guy that can do that. John's got a very successful business. I've said this before. John can do what he wants. He runs very successful. Rich has got some businesses that feed. I run Wayne County Speedway to be a successful business. I don't have a deep pocket to make that work. If I lose 10, well, I'll just feed it from somewhere else. It has to make sense on the paper for me. And I might have been the only one in the room, be honest with you. I'm the only one in the room that does that. And is that good? It keeps my schedule from being super, super flashy. But I'm still here 12 years later, and I'm consistent, and I think that works better than up and down, right? So we'll see. What do you guys think about Speed Week?
As a fan, first, as you see behind me, I'm obviously a racing fan.
Right.
So, when the news first dropped and we were losing Speed Week, I was a little worried about that. Just in like you said, the talent pool. Is you don't have the Pecks, you don't have the Courtneys, you don't have those coming to town because, first of all, when I go to the race, I just like being at the race. Like you said earlier, this kind of stuck with me of like walking the pits beforehand and seeing the Dans and the Meemaws and stuff like that. Just, hey, what's up? How you doing? When I walk the pits beforehand, I get everyone say, hey, you gonna take a picture? You gonna take a picture? And all that kind of stuff. So that's always fun. Everyone wants to see that stuff. But yeah, when they first announced all this, my fear was kind of like, so where does that, like you said, the talent pool, where does that talent pool go?
Right.
Or is Speed Week going to be what it once was without those big names coming to town?
Yeah.
Questions
still out there, right?
Yeah, selfishly, behind me, which way am I? I've got the Alex Bowman Ally Racing picture behind me. And, it's always fun to have those big names come to town.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was kind of my fear when they first announced that is what's it going to be like?
Well, I'll be honest with you. Wayne County always had Monday, right? So Wayne County's always been long before me, right? So Monday's it. So we start negotiating, and everybody wants a weekend date. Everybody wants a Saturday, or they want a Friday, or they want a Sunday. And I'm just like, listen, if we're going to do this, we're all going to – Wayne County's always been Monday. We're going to roll on Monday. But, like, if we're all going to jump on and take these different dates, we're not getting Larson. We're not getting Christopher Bell. We're not getting Alex Bowman. We're not getting Rico. We're not getting any of those guys. And then Wayne County made hay with those guys, right? So Monday you were getting NASCAR guys. Sunday they raced asphalt. Monday we're flying them in. Here they come. I'm nervous, and that's what I'm nervous about. Listen, we got a Monday night show, and it's a fast show. Fast has got talent. Don't get me wrong, but if people are going to schedule their vacations like they used to from Pennsylvania and all over, they're going to follow 7 days of Speed Week. That is to be determined. I think it's going to be a good show. I just think it's going to lose. I know it's going to lose the star power. Like, there's nothing wrong. Maybe Burkhart wins it. Maybe it's the biggest story of the year, right? Some local guy is going to get an opportunity to win a Speed Week show. It doesn't really matter to me if it's who's there for the guy who wins, right? He's going to have the trophy and the star for that. But I'm always worried about fans, because fans is the reason we do it, and it's the only way we can continue to do it. Drivers will come for the money. The fans got to come to watch the show. And so I just hope enough guys step up. You got the High Limit scheduled against it, right? So let's just throw this out there. So High Limit wanted Darren Fry to run Speed Week. They bought the All-Stars. They ran against it. Were they in Kansas or something, I think. They're in the Midwest. So they're obviously not willing to send a couple guys over to make that successful, right? They have no interest in Ohio Sprint Speedway. Let's be fair, right? We all agree that there's no interest there. They don't care if it sinks or swims. That's disappointing. A lot of things disappointing about the High Limit Series for me personally. Like, we had a show, it got snowed out. We ran another one last year, very successful. I wasn't proud of the track conditions. There was a lot of politics involved in that, but ultimately it's my track. I felt like we had a handshake deal to run that thing this year again and build it bigger and better. And, I felt like there was no communication last year to move that forward. So I don't, like I told you guys in the beginning of this, this is just my personal thoughts. So anybody watching this, I'm not bashing anybody, but if your handshake and your word isn't worth shit, then I have no use for you. No use whatsoever for you.
And as a driver, I mean, everyone can say whatever. I mean, I haven't won shit. I'd be pumped as hell to have it and have the fucking trophy hanging up. I'd probably even hang the car up in my garage or something. But to me, at the end of the day, thinking about it, I'd be like, man, I didn't win it against those guys, the guys that I originally think it is. Not that I wouldn't be pumped to beat, Ricky Stamball or Moomal or Dorjan or any of my buddies and win the whole week in front of anybody. But still, it just feels, end of the day, yeah, you won. So it doesn't matter. But just a talent pool. It is cool having those guys around and them being there. It is cool for the show. When you race them and they're 3 seconds faster than me, I don't like them. But,
Well, but if you get, you line up and you've done it, you've lined up in a heat race or something and Rico's beside you or in front of you or wherever. Those are superstars that you see on TV. And to line up and be in a heat race or a feature with those guys, it's just kind of cool. It's 1 or 2 races a year that's happened, and taking that away, I don't know. It's a transitional year for sprint car. Everybody's talking about the 2 big series is going head to head. That'll work itself out. That you just give that time. That's going to work itself out. Everybody has an opinion how, but that'll always work itself out. I only care about the 27 acres on the corner of McQuaid and Cart Road and how we can make that place succeed. Because I'll be honest with you, there's not a promoter or a general manager in racing that gives 2 shits about whether I eat steak or peanut butter and jelly tomorrow and vice versa. Everybody wants to do what's best for themselves. And that's what you see. I promise you. So I'm going to tell you right now on June 1st, I'm going to say I'm going to pay $10,000 to win on the night before or the week before. And some other racetrack that's down the street will go, well, we got Billy Bob's Barbecue going to pay us $11,000 to win. This shit happens all the time, right? It's a pissing contest in the sport. And all it does is just what I just said. It just ruins it because everybody's stepping up the money. Nobody changes. The people don't change. The cars don't change. Every promoter wants to be the big swing and dick contest. And I got out of that shit a long time ago. I feel like people respect you more for just being honest and fair with them. And the big swing and dick contest, I'm too old for that shit. I really am. There's so much effort that goes into keeping up with everybody going around. I focus on me, and Burkhart likes coming to Wayne County, and so does 20 other guys, and that's really who I care about. If they don't come every week, I'm okay with that. I'm not mad. I'm not like Jerry McClure. I think they're going to run the maybe Attica Fremont deal. Jerry's one of my good friends. I don't hate Jerry for that. I hope he has all the success in the world, but he'll be back.
Yeah. Speaking of,
they always come back.
Yeah, they'll come back. I mean, listen, one bad night, listen. So I used to say this as a racer too. Walk up to track motor. Fuck you! I ain't never coming back. Never is only 6 days, boys. I'll see you. I've said it. We were all guilty. Burkhart said it. We were all guilty of shit. And listen, because we're passionate, we're mad, but I love it. If people would get away from their phones until the next day, Facebook would be boring, right? Because nobody would say what they really want to say.
Yeah. Well, speaking of this year and just more big things going into this year, one thing I want to talk about, the cushion for the streaming of the races. That's a pretty, I think it's a pretty big deal, and it's cool for us. I mean, everyone kind of has their opinions on what streaming races has helped or hurt the sport in some ways or form. As a racer, I think it's going to be awesome to have some extra replay and to kind of look over some stuff for you to watch and while you're racing. So it's helpful there that you used to only have it at the big shows, on Flow or Dirt Vision. But from your perspective, how cool is that? Good or bad, or how's that kind of going to work out this year?
So I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big fan. I wasn't a big fan of it, and but I subscribe, listen. So Flow, Dirt Vision, I got them right. So I'm guilty. Guilty's charged. So listen, the Cushman's done a very good job. They're not the most popular, right? We all know it, but we gotta have flow, we gotta have dirt vision. That's fine. I think down the road you will only have 2 or 3. I think it will all eventually that's what the world's gonna come to. Flow is getting huge. Flow is huge. But listen, I think it's time. It's 2024. And it's time to do it. It is. But on the same, like you talk about the stage of big races with your sponsors, it gives everybody an opportunity. You're going to have more opportunity to showcase to people who don't know us. The facility is going to have an opportunity to be showcased, and maybe we'll gain some fans out of it. The downside is always right. Here's the argument, right? Oh my goodness, if you're buying at home, the tracks can't survive without the streaming money. I promise you this. We usually get a list of who bought the race or who watched the race. 90% of those aren't even in the room of coming to your facility anyway. So that fear goes away. It's when it rains, like you guys, we talk about Speedway. Remember the weather was crappy and we still race, but it's those nights when you would try to push a show and you look up in the stands and you're like, because those casual fans now they've got an opportunity to go listen. I think we're just going to check it out on Cushion tonight and we'll go next week. That's where those decisions are going to be tough. I'll be honest with you. Those are the ones I don't want to be caught in the middle of those, because you start making decisions based on how many people are here and how many are watching on TV. You get a bad taste real quick. But I do think it's 90% good for the sport. I think tracks are going to have to work harder. I do. I think the days of just putting a ship facility out there are over, because now you're going to be on TV and people, if you want to grow the sport, we want to grow who we are. I told my employees a couple of weeks ago, we had a meeting. I go, listen, guys, we're going to be on TV. So we got to be a little more professional, myself included. I'm probably more worried about myself. I'm an idiot. And so, but that's, you want to bring, Burkhart wants to show his car off. He wants to get marketing partners for him. I want to bring corporate people to my place. I have a lot of corporate sponsors and you don't want to embarrass them. So the bigger the stage, the more pressure. And so I think it'll help racing. I think everybody's going to up their game because listen, if you get a bad reputation, bad news travels faster than good news. You guys know that.
Yeah.
If I have a Dust Bowl Saturday night, I promise you, it doesn't matter how good the race was. It'll all be about pictures will be dust everywhere, right? That's be all over Facebook. Nobody gives a shit about how great the race was. Oh my God, I can't believe how dirty it was. Who won? Oh, I don't know.
Couldn't see.
I had the unfortunate experience of having my family come out on the night that the water truck broke. And I grew up asphalt racing. I worked at Barberton Speedway for 11 years, and so we're big asphalt fans. This year was the first year that I've really fully embraced dirt racing, and I didn't really notice because every dirt race I've been to, I've been in the infield, and so I was like, yeah, it's not dirty at all. And they all come out, and I, after the first 410s went out, I was like, so what'd you guys think? They were like, it'd be great if I could see them. And I was like, what, is it dusty out there?
It's funny when the joke the water truck breaks funny until the water truck really breaks. You're like, oh man,
yeah, that is.
And I was like, you probably came on the worst night. But
yeah, those nights, like you said too, the few and far between. Like the only time it happened was due to a unforeseen deal too. So that's pretty good record stats there.
I beat myself up like that's a bad deal. See that's what you're talking about though. So you want to be on streaming services now, let alone have them come in person and leave there, because they probably we're not going back. They probably won't go to a dirt race again. You'll have to twist their arm to go back to anybody's facility, because that's usually how it goes. So every racetrack needs to make it so that nobody listen. Like I said, dirt is one thing, but that coat of dust, if they gotta do this to watch, that's really not acceptable. It's not acceptable in 2024. We just have to work harder, and it costs money to everybody. It costs. Listen, I do it all, right? Nobody wants to put the time in. We got kids, we got a wife, we got a honey-do list. I don't have a wife. I don't have kids. I'm just paid up with Wayne County Speedway, so that's a pretty pathetic life, is what I have, I think. But
I was laughing because we're on the
thankful.
same page.
Yeah.
Kyle might be the only one here with a wife and kids. So
don't let them beat you up too bad. You'll be hey, when we're all old and in a nursing home by ourselves, you'll have your kids.
Yeah. What about else this year? The big races. on the schedule that you're pumped about between, I know you talked about the Hell Tours coming again.
That Hell Tour
Obviously
race.
the
You a late model
Jacobs
fan,
stuff.
Burkhart? Do you watch late
I
models?
like watching them. I like watching them and playing them on Dirt Draft when I'm able to.
Yeah, that Hell Tour race last year was so Summer Nationals, everybody knows that Hell Tour, that's like 30 races in 32 days or something. And we had the finale, and I watched the last 12 on Dirt Vision to kind of see who was who and how this, because they're mainly in the Midwest. They don't, this is as far east as they come. And I thought that was and not only because my buddy Kyle won, a local guy won, but I mean, we were sliding. I mean, as a sprint car fan, you like slide jobs. I mean, late model sliding every lap. And I thought the reviews, as bad as it was for the high limit show with the dust, right? We got horrible reviews on Dirt Vision, horrible. You flip that around to the Hell Tour race, and it was kind of like we saved ourselves. Like, this is what we really can do. And so I'm really looking forward to them coming back again and building on that success. I'm looking forward to Speed Week. I'll be honest with you, the anticipation, it's like the night before Christmas. I'm either getting socks or I'm getting like a new bicycle, right? As a kid, you're either getting a bag of socks or you're going to get a bicycle. And so Aaron's going to work hard because we're going to force Aaron to work hard, and he doesn't want it to fail. But I do think that it's going to give some regional local drivers an opportunity to showcase the talent. And maybe this is step one to building what would be the new All-Stars. Maybe this is just a transitional, this is going to be something that's going to be growing, and we got to start here. And I'm not going to be Debbie Downer about it. I'm going to be excited because that's the Duffy Smith Memorial. And for us at Wayne County, Duffy Smith was a huge, huge name and a lot of history with him. And we still memorialize him. And so we're going to make that race big because of that for no reason. The Pete Jacobs, Labor Day, man. So 10,000 to win. That's always a big one. Doesn't matter if it's fast or, it was All-Star sanction years ago. We're still going to be excited for that one. We always are. But everybody's asked it, and I don't know, circumstances just fell or whatever. You can say what you want. Everybody's like, so you got an outlaw show because High Limit dissed you? Well, maybe, but, we're all – so I'm friends with Shelton, and obviously we were going to go where Shelton went. If Shelton went High Limit, I'm sure we'd be doing High Limit races, right? So we want the Outlaws because we want Sheldon to be in the house, right? That's the draw. If you're from Wayne County Speedway and you want a hot and shield in a car, Burkhart will attest to that. Jackson,
that was one thing I was gonna say too. I forgot that day. It was a rough track, and everyone was complaining. I remember Sheldon tweeted. I forget what old school sprint car driver is his favorite. I thought his name was Bob something, and he was saying how he would have been elbows up and loving Wayne County Speedway that day because I think he even had like a picture of him painted on his helmet, the old school wheels up before the wedge cars, straight up stacks.
Yeah. So what, you guys are younger than me, obviously. Let's just talk. Let me ask you guys a question. This will be interesting. What do you guys prefer? Like, as a racers, you guys watch, you're the media people. Burkhart, I know you run some motocross. You like the elbows up drive. But do you guys prefer the methodical, slow, slick, you got to set a guy up and make that pass, or do you like that wheeling, bicycling off a turn two? Like, what's more exciting for fans, do you guys think?
I want to see him ripping around.
Yeah, it's definitely when it's
around, going sideways, crossovers.
Some nights, though. Go ahead, Kyle.
If I want to watch the slow, methodical, I'll just go to an asphalt track. It's and some, there's a certain track localish to northeastern Ohio, and it rubbers up really quick because of their surface. And a couple of the the last show that I saw there was the World of Outlaws show, and it was boring, because it was just a follow the leader show. And that's something I've never seen at your track, was a follow the leader. It's always a great rip roaring show, especially that last weekend when you opened up that lower groove.
Yeah.
I mean, that was amazing.
Yeah, see, I'm glad you said that. And not that I look for props, but people think that I just drink beer on race day and I just kind of like stand there and I don't even look pretty. I'm gruffy and scruffy, but man, I watch a lot, and I watch how I can make it better. How can I make this so a guy can set up and pass? And so we looked and we thought, man, we got him on the guardrail, right? But that gets old, I guess. So not everybody can run the guardrail, and you can't pass up there when you're just wide open, but that's kind of cool. Now we got that bottom. We stuck that bottom in 30 feet in 3 and 4. And now, I mean, Burkhart drives down the back straightaway and he gets to turn 3. It looks like he's got 200 feet wide entrance to 3. He can go wherever he wants.
Yeah.
And he can pedal it and run the bottom and pull a wheelie off the bottom and drag race, or he can run. I mean, it just opens it up. And you guys said as well as the blowout is, I think we had a late model driver go to tail, Nathan Looney, and come back and win that thing. Kyle Moore's on the fence, ripping it, and Looney comes to the bottom and comes back and wins that from the tail. And I think the sprint cars, I don't remember exactly who won, but I think he was on the bottom.
Yeah. Because I remember a couple nights that were kind of like that. I know Malkit kind of runs that line every once in a while, and Moomal kind of does, and kind of pops off some. And that's kind of where I kind of pick up some of that from. But it's like you said, I think Ricky's one of the ones that pop out in my head and stand out some of the bigger races. I've seen Ricky get back 12th, 15th, 20th, in that one All-Star race. He finished 3rd,
Yeah.
I remember he worked his way. I don't even know where he started, but I remember – standing in the infield of the Bonds, I watched him just pick a car off a turn. And, like you said, you can't do that on tracks that can't even allow you to pass from, 2nd to 1st, let alone 10th, 12th, 15th, all the way from the last.
I think that's the key. I think nobody wants to tear equipment up. I think step one is nobody wants to tear equipment up because the track's rough. So there's a fine line between what I call rough and what I'd say has got some chop to it, because some chop to it means that maybe a guy's going to hit it and bounce, and he's going to move, and there's going to be some passing, right? So it's going to be some driver ability, and I'm a dick. I just like to see guys in their elbows up doing their thing. Like, you're drivers. Like, do your thing. Wheel the thing. Use the pedals.
Yeah.
I think we're losing some of that. I think it's gotten too – if you watch NASCAR or if you watch some local asphalt racing, there's great asphalt racing. I'm not dissing it. I go once in a while, I'll admit. But, man, nothing like sitting them bitches sideways and hitting a hole. The guy running second drops underneath you. I mean, everybody goes, oh, look at that, and that's what it's all about. Because if it's boring as hell, they ain't coming back. They ain't going to do it. There's other shit to do.
Yeah. That's one thing, too. It's been pretty – I think probably maybe it was 3 years ago, I'd want to say, where it seemed like you didn't want to pass in the sprint car feature because it was – between either the skill level, track, whatever they wanted to blame it on. There was a lot of sprint car wrecks, I felt like, that one year. And the last 2 years, it seemed like it's drastically flipped to where the sprint cars are having so minimal cautions and it's getting so racy, and it's getting racy and we're still not seeing those things. So it just kind of pays back tribute to drivers keeping their head on and the track being, up to par and something guys really feel comfortable on, because if they're not comfortable, we all know how that kind of turns out.
Yeah. I mean, I remember a couple years ago, it seemed like, and you get beat up, right? Guy went to Wayne County, and the next day you see the shit's all tore up, and nobody wants that. That's not what I want Wayne County to be known for. Like, oh, it's a junkyard tonight. Look at all the shit got tore up. Because those guys are probably not coming back next week, not because they're mad, just because eventually the pocketbook gets in the way, right? You can only fix so much shit. Mm-hmm. And so we don't like it to be that, but so that's why you can't run the guardrail all the time, because eventually somebody's going to catch it and flip, right? So you give them options. Not everybody's comfortable running the guardrail, and I think more lines you have for racing, that's what we're doing. Qualifying is always awesome, because you can hear the motors and you hear them guys not lifting. That's just the greatest thing in the world of Wayne County, to hear them rip around without lifting, because I can't do it, and nobody in the stands can do it. And that's why they bought the ticket, right? And So yeah, that's long and the short of the racetrack is, so you guys prefer the balls, wheels up, stack it up and go racing. And I think everybody's in the fans are probably like you guys. So I'll ask you another question. We'll flip this again. Why do you think more racetracks are going to the other way? Why do you think you're seeing more black, shined off, slick? Why do you think you see that?
Drivers complaining. I think a lot of it is, like you had mentioned earlier, everyone's on Facebook and Twitter right after the event.
A lot of politics besides that. Some influence has way too much traction.
You had Danny that night of Speed Week just ripping Wayne County a new one and everyone a new one for racing that night. Right. And I think a lot of it is promoters or series just being afraid to just, hey, balls up and race. I'm a big social media person, so I'm always, scrolling Twitter or TikTok or whatever. And it is just always,
bitching.
You get the biggest hits with the biggest complaints.
For sure.
So
For sure.
you
I
know,
agree with that. So,
if you're on there tweeting up a storm about how the track is garbage, I'll never be here again, you're getting all that attention. We all love that attention. So, I think a lot of it is promoters or, whoever just being afraid to push that limit. And it might not, I don't even know if it's a limit, but, just of that, hey, let's race.
Yeah.
And like you said, if you don't want to race, just leave. You don't have to make it a spectacle. Just
it's making a spectacle of I'm leaving. It's a dramatic. It's being a dramatic teenage girl and making.
And it's just who it is. If I would have been on there, bitched about it, everyone would have been like, "Yeah, you shouldn't have showed up anyway." That's what they would have said if I was on there. Like, yeah, you
never want Danny to come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, both of you guys. So I agree with you, Chris and Burkhart. That's true. Like, if you're not classified as a superstar and you go to Twitter and you start talking shit, people just dismiss it. They're like, who are you? Shut up. But if you have a little clout and, like you said, you want to get some followers on Facebook or some more people tweeting or whatever it is now, X, I guess. Yeah, it's just sad though, because I think we're losing. If you want young people to want to enjoy watching racing, there has to be a little danger in it. I don't want to get nobody hurt. Okay, so it's not like let's just take the roll cages out, no seatbelts, but there has to be an element of like, wow, that's cool because it's something you want to do but you can't. But this dude just ripped a fence wide open, and maybe he did tumble, maybe he did flip out of the park. But luckily, he didn't get hurt. But that's just part of the show. Like, and you take that responsibility, and that's part of what racing is. Look at NASCAR. What's the two biggest watched races in NASCAR? Right? Daytona and Talladega. It's just a fact. It trumps Bristol anymore, and people like that stuff. Now, I don't see nobody get hurt, but there's a lot of race fans that are just waiting for the wreck. And sprint cars, how many calls I get, guys? This is what I get. Hey, you racing tonight? Yeah, we're racing. Start 7. Hey, you got them cars with them wings on top? Yeah, we got sprint cars. Oh, I love them sprint cars. Them things wreck. They tumble the hell out down straightaways. Like, yeah, we got them. So that's just your casual, seen it on TV. You guys got those because we're coming over. And so but maybe we'll convert that guy into just good racing too,
Yeah.
And you introduce them to all forms, because running 5 divisions at county, I get beat up for that too. And there's a part of me that maybe like to stream that back a little bit, but I don't know. I think we talked about mini stocks earlier being really good racing. We've had great late model shows and great talent there, but the sprint cars are the draw. But the super stocks and modifieds have a place, and it's all stepping stones, right? So, Burkhart, you'll remind me because I'm going to forget who raced mini stocks a couple years ago and went sprint car racing. I'm drawing a blank. Wyatt Zimmerman. I mean, there's just a guy went from mini stock racing, graduated high school, and got a sprint car. And is he coming back this year? Did he get built back up?
I'm not 100% sure. I've talked to him a couple of times about some parts and stuff. I have to hit him up and see what his whole plan is.
I know he took last year off. I mean, he had a rough sophomore year. And he was going to regroup and stuff. But, there's a guy just jumped from mini stocks to sprint cars. You don't see it very often. Tyler Wiles went mini stock to street stock to sprint cars, and he's back to modifieds now. But, I just think any form of motorsports is okay. But the sprint cars are the cream of the crop. We all know that. But when you bring those fans in, you want to experience the whole package, because not every car reacts the same. And but I don't know. People want to be home. So what I've learned is there's a 3.5 hour window, right? So at 7 o'clock, you got till about 10:30. If you run anything past 10:30, you've probably lost 2/3 of more of your crowd, because they've just lost interest, or it's a bad night, right? There's wrecks, there's something going on that, they're ready to check out. So,
yeah, that was one thing I was gonna show. Jared commented again. You got his comment up a while ago, Kyle. Something about that. He's not streaming. He said his ass will be in the stands or something.
Yeah.
This one.
Streaming is cool, but my ass will be in the stands.
Yeah, see, and we need 2,000 of his friends to come with him. But
Mike Hensel.
Yeah. So, but I'm telling you, it seems like it's the majority says that, and I'm not on islands, and other tracks do it too, but Like I just see a trend where I'm over here, you know, and am I working harder than anybody else? I don't say I work harder than anybody else. I just try to put myself into Burkhart's shoes as a racer and go, hey, man, I'm going to county this week. At least I know that I can race there and I can race my way to the win, or I can drive to the front if I have a bad night. Because if I can't do that, I'm probably going to go race somewhere else that I can do that. Because the competition's so tight that you just can't guarantee yourself a front row or a front 2 row starting spot no more. And those heat races mean everything, right? So we qualify, line them up. You know, you need those heat races to be racy. And so I just look at things differently. And maybe that's good or bad, but until somebody tells me which way they want me to go, I'm going to continue to do what I've done for 12 years.
And one thing about the other tracks I wanted to say, or the other classes that I've noticed too, like between, you know, Hensel's, New Fast. I mean, they probably know who I am, but I know some of the stock guys. But between all those guys and, you know, some of the modified guys and late models like, you know, Mitch, big fan of Mitch's, good buddies with him.
Yeah.
You know, those guys it always seems there's 5, 10, 15, 20 guys, people that come in with all those people every time. And like when I see that, I just see how much helpful that boy is to the entire track, bringing in all those extra people with them. And some nights, you know I'm there with, you know, just my help, you know, family can't come, sponsors can't come, whatever. And it's just, I brought 3 people with me and I noticed these guys got 15, 20 people with them, you know, and it's, even if it's not people's preferred brand of racing, I mean, those guys, I mean, if you call it support class, whatever, like you said, they have a place. And like, to me, that's a big part of them. They help kind of make the whole thing keep spinning.
Yeah. There again, you just said it. Like everybody plays a role. Mini stocks, you know, obviously they have less money invested, but they still get the respect. I always hate when, like, some of my staff, I'm not going to lie to you, some of my staff at the end of the night will be like, oh, we got one more feature to go. And they don't give it, they may not give it the attention it deserves for the calls and the scoring or the officiating. I get pissed off. Like, these guys sat here all night. They paid the same money as the sprint cars. Like, they deserve the same quality of stuff from us as officials.
He froze.
We got to
check some.
Okay, while we're figuring that out, I do like Mike's comment. If they follow the leader, the track, they can go run asphalt. Kyle, you and I can attest to this, being, you know, Barberton Speedway lifers prior to this.
I mean, I've seen a lot of. I mean, I've watched probably 1,000 asphalt races in my life, and yeah, there's some nights where you do have a follow the leader, but I've also seen some good 3 wide racing around the turn, you know, punching it. But you know, some tracks just they don't race that way.
He's coming
All right,
back.
We got him.
My phone overheated. It said overheated, and so I had to pick it up. It was laying on the computer, but I was just ranting too much, I guess.
No, Mike Hensel said again, if it's all leader track, they can go run asphalt. So just some more Clayton.
Yeah, there's a lot of good comments. I'd like to ask you guys a question before we kick me off of here. If you guys had, and Burkhart, you go the most, and these guys have been there though, but if you had a magic wand, and each one of you got to answer this, and we'll start with Chris. What would you change? One thing you would change about Wayne County?
Man, I got a good one.
I don't know.
Yeah,
because
don't you dare say anything about the damn cheeseburgers either.
Come on.
The same.
Dude, okay, so I'm going to say that. I applied for media credentials for a drift event this week, and I was like, oh, I can go there Saturday afternoon, and then I can eat at Wayne County. That's what I was most excited about. I don't know.
I got two
good question.
Burkhart,
because
you only get one.
we've been, I would say Wayne County has been one of the most welcoming tracks for us. when we walked in as newbies this year, everyone in the infield and then all the track workers, all the drivers, all the fans, they've accepted us as like one of their own. You know, once we got kind of in contact with Dan and some of the stuff started getting shared more, you know, we'd stand in turn 4 during hot laps and get pictures from there. And we'd have people walking up to the fence. Oh, we love what you guys are doing. You know, it's great. So for us, we've kind of had a great time. You know, for me, I'm dying to get back out. I can't wait to get back out.
One thing you would change, there's got to be one thing. Come
A
on.
photo spot towards turn 3 on the outside of 3.
That'd be
I just want to be able to get a nice shot down the backstretch.
Okay.
That'd be nice.
There you go. I mean, that's see, it could be as simple as that. Having a safe place to stand to get the back shot.
We've been tempted to go stand over there, but we don't want to get yelled
There's
at.
those guardrails over there.
Russell have a meltdown over there, man.
Yeah, Russell will get you.
So
yeah, see, like, I mean, we've talked to the infield workers and everything. Like, I'm not trying to butter you up or anything, but I think since like day one,
I like it.
we've kind of just been accepted as like part of the group there. There's never been like a, oh, you guys are outsiders. You know, because Kyle and I, how many different tracks did we go to last year where, you know,
quite a few,
that you feel like an outsider at a lot of places where when we came there, I mean, it was just from day one, it was like we were meant to be there.
Well, that's nice. I appreciate that. I mean, we've got the compliment before from another racetrack. I won't mention who it was, but like they always say, people are so friendly. The staff is friendly, and I might be gruff, and you'll see me get mad once in a while, but like at the end of the day, I can smile real quick, and I do appreciate the media coverage and people wanting to showcase or come and show what we have to offer there. So that's always good, kind words that everybody was nice to you. But I'll give Pork Chop most of that credit.
So I will say it is very entertaining because I'm a scanner type person. I love listening to the scanner to know what's going on. and I tune into both channels. And it does provide some good entertainment sometimes.
Sometimes Dad has to raise his voice.
And I just think of the times that I've had to be the person on the radio, working 7 years as like an assistant race director, where I'm the one yelling across the radio, and it's nice. It makes me feel like, hey, I wasn't the only one that's had to do that.
There'll be something that comes across the radio, and he just gives like we have like, oh look, and he just gives me a look. He's like, you should hear what's going on right now.
And this isn't just specific to your track. It's every place we go, because I as somebody who's worked in the officiating side for as long as I did, that interests me. I love the logistics of motorsport and everything. So I love listening to how other promoters run their shows and everything. So when we're over at Sharon, I'll tune into theirs. I'll turn into World of Outlaws or IndyCar's race control or whatever, and it's just interesting to hear how
Lorraine fighting about whether to turn lights on or not.
Yeah, we were at Lorraine and going to watch Supermods, and they had, what were they, midgets?
Yeah,
is that where they were running midgets too? And it was getting really dark, like enough where it was like you couldn't really tell, like if somebody were to be standing out in a black hoodie on the racetrack, in enough time to stop. And they're just over the radio arguing if they should turn the lights on or not. And I'm standing there like, yes, turn the lights on.
It's on. It's yeah. So Kyle, what's your one thing if you had your magic wand?
I gave mine. I gave mine.
Kyle said the photo spot.
Here's a picture.
Photo
Chris
spot.
didn't
that was
give
in the photo
anything.
spot. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Chris is the one that
Chris
keeps
is the
dancing
one
around
that
it.
fucking getting her out of it.
Chris
They
couldn't
put me
come
on
up
the
with nothing but
spot like this.
compliments, so I'll take the compliments. So
Yeah. See,
one
I was
for one.
I was the good cop in all of this. You two can be the bad cops.
Well,
I can get-
Burkhart's gonna have a list. He's writing. I see him writing the whole time. He's got a page and a half.
I got a couple of notes here, I think, on my phone. So one thing I'll say, which I bet is a pain in the ass for you, and it's for most people, but it also probably is a space constraint deal, like a flow through the getting into the pits, like as things are popping up. Not even so much like even like big shows, you kind of anticipate it, but we all like to show up at the same time 30, 40 minutes late, and we all come in and it's hard. You got to pull up, and it's kind of a thing. I know they tried doing like that pit pay thing the one time they had the bigger series there or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a pain for you cycling people through that pit house too and stuff. And I know we can get there early, but one of those things would be something that like to me would be like, man, it would be cool if you could have something where it's like a speedy lane just for racers and stuff to get in. But like I said, that's probably something you'd love to have too.
Yeah, I would agree with you. The way we enter the pits, I thought about doing lanes. So I thought about coning that driveway off, and we can get 3 lanes and keeping the center lane open so that nothing's worse than when a guy parks, he walks up there to get in line or whatever, and then the guy behind him wants to go around and he can't. It's blocked. So if we can keep the middle lane open. Another problem is if maybe you're talking to is like I hate the way we pay pit passes there. Like you stand in line and Sherry and you might have 2 people working in there, but there's only 1 line. And if we had the front sealed off and you had different windows and you would have 4 lines, so it wouldn't look like the line wrapped all the way down Car Road. You would actually have 4 short lines and it would move quicker.
Yeah, that and then I wish some people knew how to park better in the pits. That's all something we could all do a little better because we could all angle certain ways with the flow of, especially the sprint car guys. When you're coming off the track, it's easy just to pull it out of gear, roll into your trailer, And we all got bigger trailers and squeeze it in parts we need because I want to be by my buddy. I'm trying to be by Joe or Moomaw, so I'm putting my trailer in a spot I shouldn't be, But so some of them are our problem, but like almost like
those 2 are big problems. Those 2 things bug me as much as they bug you. And we didn't sell parking spots this year because it was such a big issue last year, and it just without paving or concreting and putting lines on the ground, you can line it, but every time it rains, you're out there redoing it, right? So it just becomes we try to eliminate work over there. There's enough to do that we don't like to do the same stuff every week, and striping the pits is just annoying. But if you ever come up with a better solution, I'm all ears.
Yeah.
So those
just
are the
donate money for concrete if you got a better idea.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. So, we use paint here where I work. We paint lines all the time. So we tried paint a couple times, but sometimes it doesn't even work. Like I'm going to say something. So all those things are valid. But when Chris talked about being welcome there, like he feels like it's home. Do you feel like, so for me, like, I don't mind you guys coming. I'm glad you enjoy coming there, but like, so when the red flag comes out, I'll be honest with you. So the red flag comes out at Wayne County, like everybody bull rushes the racetrack there. It's sometimes I feel like not the media people, but like racers or their crews, everybody just assumes it's okay to do things that aren't okay. And it doesn't happen at a lot of other racetracks I go to. Like I go to Attica and stuff. I don't see that. And I don't know if I'm, I don't want to be the big bully going, oh, you can't come on my racetrack. But like, I feel like sometimes I get disrespected a little bit. That's a disrespect move, really. When you go where you're not supposed to go, you know what I mean? So
Kyle and I
a major safety risk.
I was going to say, I think Kyle and I, we've been through enough safety meetings, and Kyle having worked at a track, we're very careful about those kind of things. We're not leaving the infield until a race is over,
right?
To where it is completely safe to walk across the track.
Yeah,
we're not
the only car that's on the track is maybe the guy in victory lane, and right. I know if I'm walking across at turn 4, he's not going to hit me. It's safe to cross.
You never know. Push trucks and everything else.
Yeah, that's.
That's the one thing that always bugs me the most is it just seems like even in the infield. So we let pit crews go to the infield now. You guys are always in there. We have little concrete barriers and we put the work area in there because our pits are tight. Burkhart knows. So like, hey, we'll we'll move this to the infield for your race. And then we know if you're coming for a flat or whatever, it streamlines the show, but it never fails. You got a little corral for the crew members and their four-wheelers. And you guys have seen it. I do too. Like, they're spread out from turn to turn, standing on a tractor, a tire, or a board, or whatever they can stand on. And so those things I have to tighten up, because often insurance rates just keep going up, and pretty soon, we'll lose that luxury of being able to put people where we want them. And so the things that I would change, what I'm getting at is, like, I just wish go ahead.
You hit it for me right there. Is some of the unsafe practices, and I don't think it's on you, but some of the things that people will do that happen.
Yeah.
There was an event I was at last year that there was a media person doing a lot of very unsafe things, and Porkchop and I kind of talked about it, so he had saw it and knew about it. Right. But there was someone who brought a dog into the infield, and I don't know if you've seen. I have two of mine running around here all night. Yeah. It just felt weird that there was, this person with a dog on the infield. I'm sorry if you're watching, but there was some of those things, like where you had people walking in and out of the track. Is like, I think a lot of people, and they don't have the mindset that we all do of safety, is that, yeah, people will be unsafe at times walking in and out of the track. The red flags, walking across the track, is you never know when a tow truck's going to come, the ambulance has to go, and that kind of things, that you're impeding potential safety issues.
And the damn cars through the pits. I mean, Jason says it about every damn day. Pull it out of gear and slow the fuck down. That's one of the biggest things. Like, that's usually the only time I'm worried at the track, is when you pull off in the pits. It's a little darker and it's dusty. It's not the racetrack, so everyone comes off and it's dusty. You're trying to. That's when I'm most alert, because you never know when someone's going to walk out. I don't want to ever. I remember being younger and being drug off to the side by my dad or my uncle and stuff. So I know that's going to be there. And that's just kind of the deal with it. But the extra inherent risk on some stuff, would be kind of difficult to handle.
Kids in the infield make me nervous.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think anybody under 14 should be in the, that might be an unpopular opinion with fans, but as a safety standpoint, some parents don't watch their kids, and some kids don't pay attention.
Accidents. I mean, there was a few times
last year. Well, there was one. It was the last race last year where I was standing over in turns 1 and 2, and I think it was a modified just came screaming through the infield, and luckily my head, I wasn't in my eyepiece at that second, because I had to get out of the way because they were coming. Things can go.
Things can go bad fast.
Yeah, it can go really bad really fast out there, and
it's a big responsibility when we open that pit area to the infield. Like, we took on a lot of responsibility to control that. You're going to see, you might not see it opening day, but we are going to put gates where the cars come on the racetrack at concrete pad. We are going to put gates there. I hate gates. It's just more maintenance, but we're going to put gates there. We're moving the guardrail, Burkhart. So when you come off turn 4, the guardrail, and you come off a 3 and the apex of 4, that last 30 feet, that guardrail is going to come in about 7 or 8 feet and continue longer. So it carries the cars away from that outside wall. Watching the top groove at Wayne County, they're on the cushion. Everybody drives off of it on exit because it carries you to the outside wall. I mean, you can't make it. Obviously, you're going to smash the wall. So if we bring the guardrail in and we extend it, it kind of closes that gap off. Remember when we were talking earlier about Zimmerman? Remember when we parked it in the fence there?
Yeah.
If we do this guardrail change, that would never have happened. And so that was one thing I didn't like. And how can I stop that from ever happening again? Because we were lucky. We were very lucky. The wing went over the fence.
Yeah, that was a scary deal.
And fell right in front of the pit bleachers, obviously, and it was like crazy. And so those are the things I do. Like, so I like Burkhardt's idea of getting people in quicker. My biggest pet peeve in life is people have money in their hand, they want to give it to me, but I'm making them wait too long because they may change their mind. So anytime I watch the facility, I go, how can we streamline the concession line? How can we make people get what they need quicker?
You could open up the pit window again.
Do what?
The pit window for concessions.
You like that when it was in the pits?
Man, that
cheeseburger.
Well, not even that. I like it a lot for afterwards though, too, because it's always like busier after hours as people are leaving and stuff and grabbing food to go leave, and we do the same thing because a lot of the places are closed on the way home. So we load up on 5 cheeseburgers and chicken tenders and whatever is left out there. But a pit window, I
figured out Chris's thing.
What's Chris?
He wishes that he could keep the little piece of paper that's in our credential at the end of the season.
I could probably make that happen.
He tried that last year, and the lady at the window was like, "No, we got to keep it."
Sure, he's mean. So you guys, Chris and Kyle, when you guys come, you guys go to a lot of different racetracks. I'll ask you another question if you don't mind. So when you come to Wayne County, I know you say it feels like home, but is there anything procedure-wise that other tracks are doing that you think we should do better as far as controlling media or making it easier? Or do you guys does any track do anything different that you think, man, that kind of works cool, or that's a bonus? Is there anything I'm missing?
I wouldn't say so. I know Sharon sends us ones, but they have like a scanning system there.
Okay.
We have like a QR code on the back of it. But other than that, I think it's pretty much run of the mill, wouldn't you say, Kyle? We check in, sign off, the form that you would for any type of pit pass and stuff, and we just go about it. Kyle and I are kind of in a weird situation where like we've done a lot of bigger things. Like we've gotten to do NASCAR and IndyCar, so we've had to sit through safety meetings and things like that these big things go. So we're a little more observant of things going on.
Yeah.
But other than, I wouldn't say there isn't anything of like, this way you guys know we signed the liability form and all of that stuff that, and I don't, Kyle, would you think of anything like?
I mean, it's pretty standard. I mean, other than, like going to, like Mid Ohio, we have season credentials there, and we sign a form at the beginning of the year, and then that covers us the whole year. We just show up and show security our, hey, we're here, but there's no real, like, they don't know we're there specifically if we just show up, which, I mean, isn't the greatest thing because it's always nice to know who's in your facility,
right?
And if something happens, you need to know. But no, I think the way you guys do it is fine. Sometimes we get there and there's a line and we gotta stand in it, but hey, so does every driver. We shouldn't be any different than, at that point we're just like the drivers, we're just like the fans, we're there. If the worst thing that happens is I have to stand in a line to get my credential that night, oh well,
Right.
If I have to wait 5 minutes to get my chicken tendies, I'm not coming back.
What about something for like PA and announcing? What if that was like on a radio station? So where like guys have a speaker in their trailers, because I know it's hard enough as you're out there running. We're idle and sprint cars coming in, Alpha races, letting them build heat for 5-10 minutes, or having a fire to check something, or mini stocks warming up, or late models warming up. It's hard to hear back there. Like one thing, I was like a racer, something stupid. Like obviously it's expensive to put in a huge PA system. I can't imagine. I don't know how much it costs to have a radio channel either. But
those radio transceivers, we used one at one of the kart tracks that I was at, and I know Midville Speedway just put one in both for the announcer and the pit speaker system, and they're relatively inexpensive, and you just pick a station that's not in use in your area,
right?
And they can tune a radio in there and even fans can put in earbuds or a little like Walkman FM radio and listen.
Walkman, you're showing your age.
or they have a radio in their trailer and they can listen to what's going on.
Yeah, we have an FM transmitter. We had some interference, so we had to put an external antenna and everything on it. And I don't know, William. I'll get William on looking at putting out. We still have it. I never thought about putting in the pits. I'll be honest with you. I never even thought about that. That's a good idea because
I mean, it's just
speakers.
This is the easiest bitch out of everything. I mean, for what we could be bitching about, this is pretty. I'm glad these are the only things I'm thinking of, so we can't really.
I like the hard questions too, because like I know it's not all just roses and fucking wine over there for sure. Like I'm the biggest critic of the place, so I always want to see what outsiders. Burkhart, you're there all the time, and I, a lot of people don't know. Like without Burkhart's help, I put a lot of guardrail up 2 years ago, and he brought me an excavator with an auger, like it saved my ass. And so I couldn't have done that work. I'd still be over there hand digging them some bitches. Yeah. But I always want to get the hard questions because listen, you can only get better.
And if you need more, let us know.
Yeah, well, listen, we're going to move that guardrail, but maybe we'd only need it for a day or two for sure. That one, but.
Well, let me know.
To be better, you just have to so Joe's on here, put a fence up in 1 and 2 so I stay in the ballpark. Yeah, well, I put another row guardrail, so that's hopefully. You remember?
I don't know. I was laughing at Prosler's. I need a pit food app and have food delivered to trailers at a convenience fee. I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah, Ryan. So I do get a lot of compliments on
Pit
our food.
Dash.
We buy quality food. We try to sell it at reasonable prices. I do like the fact that people like our food because I don't see a lot of McDonald's bags, and we're gonna add pizza this year. We got Pizza Hut coming on board.
Pizza.
Wow.
Yeah. You just won Chris over even more with the Pizza Hut.
Pizza and chicken tendies. Those are like my two favorite foods.
Yeah, so we're getting into the modern world, but no, like anytime, guys, not just on the show, but like I'm an open book. If you text me or whatever, if you see something you guys don't like over there, I got to know it. Sometimes I see it and I have tunnel vision for things I want to do. I already know where I want to be next year, the improvements, but sometimes I overlook the easy stuff that could just be paint or a simple procedure change. So I always look for input. Some people call me unapproachable. I've been told I'm unapproachable. It just depends on the time of day of what it is.
If they come trying to get you at 9:30 in the middle of the night on Saturday night, then it might be that way,
Yeah, it's but I promise you, I'm always interested in hearing what can make it better. Now, if you come up and you have nothing but negative things to say about I'm doing nothing right, probably not going to come off very well. So, Andrew wants jalapeno cheeseburgers delivered. I like that. Listen, I might have to go into restaurant business. To hell with this racetrack shit.
You might be able to get Bonsai to open up a restaurant at the track. I know
Bonsai got in one time. He brought his car into pits or something, and I was like, "Man, what are you doing?" And he brought me a burger. He cooked burgers and brought me a big cheeseburger or whatever, and like trying to buy me off. It worked. Like it was damn good.
Bonsai's a good chef in the pits. But we'll have to do a thing kind of when we get racing going and maybe get an off weekend, or if we unfortunately have a rain out or something, maybe we can do another show with you on and see how things are going. But we'll probably wrap up here. But let us shout out anything else you want to shout out, any sponsors or I know we're kind of still up in the air for this weekend. If you want to talk about this weekend, upcoming weekend, or whatever you want to babble off and talk about.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's went these schedules. They're everywhere. Burkhart, I'll get you some for you put in those Lepo stores, and if you guys need some. We got thousands of these to get out. But no, I mean, our schedule's online. Obviously, Facebook and WayneCountySpeedway.com is a good place to go. Pork Chop's been keeping it updated. All our information's there. We're going to come out. There's going to be a purse increase for the sprint cars next week. You're going to see that come out. Hopefully it's going to be a good positive step in getting sprint car racing. Even keel, Wayne County's kind of been lagging behind a little bit. And I feel like we've been getting supported enough that's, we're going to bump it up there to get in line with other tracks. Just really looking forward for the whole season. There's not a one race on that schedule. I look forward to the next race, whether it be Saturday or the third. Fast is coming. I think we run right into a fast show on the 13th. So, if Mother Nature gets us Saturday, we're going right into one of these fast shows. And so that's going to get our feet wet pretty early and set the tone on what sprint car racing is this year. And I don't know. I'm excited for all of them. I have to be. Like, I'm the lead cheerleader, bathroom cleaner, bill, whatever I am, So I always tell the staff that it starts with me. If I'm not enthused, they're not going to be enthused. So I just enjoy doing these. You guys give me an opportunity to showcase and talk about the Speedway, and there's lots of talent out there. And I know we bitched a little bit, and I don't mean to be grumpy about any one thing, but like I see it differently sometimes than other people do. And I look at long term where we're going to be, not short term success. Like everybody can't pay $50,000 to win, and if you do and you lose money, then that track might not be around next year. So grow where you can afford. So I always say this is one of my quotes, right? Over deliver and under promise. Like I can tell Burkhart, man, I'm gonna pay $10,000 to win every week. I can't do that. I know I can't. And so you put that out there, and people are like, holy shit, Wayne County's doing this. First time I can't. That's gonna spread a hell of a lot quicker, right? He stiffed me. He wrote me a bad check. Like, so you always want to keep people. Well, if I tell you I can do it, like I said, handshake and word. That's all it is. I think people respect it, and that's the key to any success that place has had with me. Is my word is what it's worth.
And perspective versus perception is a big thing too. It depends when people can't kind of put themselves in the shoes of whoever's doing the decisions and making those calls. It's kind of
we just live in a world though that so we can't use the internet to promote and expect that people can't use it to criticize. Like I've learned a long time ago that freedom of speech is both ways. And so if I want to get on here and promote how great we are, there's always going to be the peanut gallery that wants to tell me how ungreat it is. And that's okay. I really have more respect for a guy to walk up to me face to face though. Like if you're going to keyboard it, great. Just next time you see me, let's talk about it. Don't just post it and ghost me. Let's talk. What didn't you like? What can I do to make your experience better? But they never want to give you the opportunity. It's never that because they don't want you to fix it because then they don't have an argument anymore.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and then last question, because we've gotten it a couple times in the chat. What's the plans for the weekend? This weekend, just watch Mother Nature.
We're scheduled to race.
Yeah, so the schedule's on, but so I won't lie to you guys. Listen, it's wet. It's going to be cold. I would tell you that we'll see everybody on the 13th probably. So
don't hold your breath, everyone.
But that's still big though. Even though fast race, first race of the year.
Open up with the fast. I mean, I looked at the forecast before we went on because I knew that would be a question. But I think it's a high of 48 and a low of 30 something, and we're just underwater. I mean, I think everybody in Central Ohio, I think people south of us got hit way harder. And so I see Atomic canceled, Pittsburgh canceled. I just don't see anybody in Ohio in the area. Everybody's underwater. And so people are cleaning out their basements and doing other things, and it's going to be cold. So good business decision is probably going to see people on the 13th unless something changes. And it's Ohio. Hell, it's going to snow Thursday. Nothing says it will be 70, right? We don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard, like you said too. Fans traveling, racers traveling. You always got to take that in perspective. Leighton Wagner, he came on here a couple weeks ago, and they said they're planning to be at Wayne County a lot this year, and he said this was his favorite track. So guys like that have those 2.5 hour drives, 3 hour drives in a big rig or something. When it's iffy weather, like you said, it's hard to justify to keep it going or to make a right decision.
We always try to wait till Thursday because you guys know the weather changes so much, especially in the spring around here. So to make a decision on Tuesday or Wednesday, it'd be like, yeah, probably. But Thursday, they're going to really know what's going to happen. And so if nothing changes, like tomorrow, we'll put something official out. But we're ready to go. I mean, I had food license inspection today. And so we're
yeah.
So Burkhart said he'll bring his car out and run it. Yeah, come on over. Listen,
take the wings off. Take the wings off. Get out there, wheel pack.
Yeah. So, hey, Burkhart, real quick, what do you think of that? As a sprint car racer, what do you think of that? Is that something that you think is beneath you, or do you think that's good?
If your car doesn't go for wheel pack, you don't get to hit hot laps.
Yeah. See, that's an old school thing too. See, that I don't know. See, I'm just too old for the sport, I think. But I'm not saying just sprint cars in general, but a lot of times if it rains and everybody's like, man, let's get this race in. And so you want all these people to help run it in because it goes quicker. It's not that I need it because I can't afford a diesel fuel, but time is the essence, right?
Yeah.
And sprint car guys seem to always be the ones that don't want to do that. And I understand it, but like, I didn't know what's the vote back there. I mean, you guys,
there's a lot of people that obviously, you want to bitch and be like, I probably said it too. Like, I ain't fucking going out there. I'll let 10 other guys go before me. But then on the other hand, it's how often do we have to really do that?
Right.
I only got muddy because Joe thought it was funny just to roost me the whole time while we were on the track idling around. But
you probably deserved it.
Yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, I've had to do that one time in racing for 4 years now. And to be fair, I didn't have to clean the mud off my car. My family helped do it, so I don't.
Because out in the Midwest, if you look at Iowa and you look at some of them tracks in Illinois, like that's a common practice. Like that's part of the routine every night. Like the race cars are going to come out and finish the racetrack off, and it's just for some reason it's weird how depends on what part of the country you're at. The racing is so different. The procedures, the program, and I don't know. Like I'm trying to find a place for Wayne County I don't want to lose the history and stuff, but to move it forward respectfully and still keep some of them old timers. They really did enjoy that. The interaction and seeing like, I don't know. Some people say, "Oh man, I love seeing them sprint cars out there, wheel pack. That's good, man." You get, that's old school people who think, "Why don't we do that every week?" But the cost of fuel, we argue, right? We're arguing about the cost of fuel and the laps on the motors. All those things are good arguments, but I don't know. I guess we all live in the past, and everybody says the good old days. Nobody says it's going to be good days coming. It's always good old days. But them are, I think maybe they're wrong. We'll find out.
Yeah.
So that's all. I'm rambling. I could go on and on, but I'm good. You guys laughing at me, but
yeah, we're all pumped to get Wayne County going. I know I am, these guys, like all the local guys, and we'll have to have you on again in a month or two because we're gonna kind of do a second round with a bunch of people to see how their years have been taken off, and maybe
we'll do one live from the racetrack. You guys come up, we'll do a live remote.
There we go.
And, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
we'll
go
early before the track.
And
that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah. So listen, I always enjoy the time. You guys are great. Burkhart, I always hope to see you win a couple this year, get some of them fast wins. Chris
I think if Burkhart wins, you're just gonna see me go ape shit.
It's gonna be a big party. If it goes,
listen, I look forward to that.
I'm gonna do the Owen Larson, and I'm gonna be climbing on his wing.
We're gonna need Ubers back to Akron.
Yeah, someone's gonna have to climb my wing for me because if I win, I guarantee I'm gonna be out of breath and asking for a tea.
I'll be climbing on. When Burkhart gets his win, I'll be climbing on the wing for him.
You probably have to. It'll come. It really will. And so I remember when Burkhart got a car, I met you with Moomaw was there, and we were testing and stuff. So listen, I've seen a lot of guys start, and you just get better and better, and you just can't replace track time and laps. So I hope you get one of them fast races. Maybe you get Speed Week. Maybe we're talking about Speed Week, and you'll be.
I'm cool with a local show, man. I'm not picky.
Kyle,
so we'll just keep ripping it.
When Burkhart gets that win, I'm shotgunning a Twisted Tea on his wing. So that's what we'll end it on that. That's the thought you guys get to look forward
Sponsor
to.
Me.
Burkhart gets his win, and I'm falling off his wing doing shotguns.
I like it. So hey guys, thanks for the time. I appreciate it.
No,
thanks again for coming on. It's been a long time coming to get you on here. It's definitely good to have a track promoter owner on here and give you the opportunity to talk and us to ask you questions. And I know you do your lives every once in a while, and that's good too. I don't see a lot of track owners and promoters doing that, so that's pretty cool.
The bullshit. Like I can ramble on. Poor Chuck, I just listen. I'm a motor mouth, but I'm passionate. It can't all be my way, but I just, if I get my 5 seconds to say what I want, I do. And if you guys get hate mail and shit, I apologize.
No, we accept it. We bring it our
all
way.
The hate mail just goes straight to the trash can.
I like that. That's if I could post with have no comments turned on, life would be so easy. So, all right, guys, I'll catch you later.
Thanks again, and
thank you.
Thanks again to our show sponsor, Apex Designs. Hit them up for all your decal and graphic design work. Check us out next week. don't know what we'll have going on next week, but hopefully we'll have someone just as fun as Jason on.
Hey, next week we get to talk about high limits, so it's back.
Yeah, I get to talk about high limit.
Finally.
What happens this weekend in racing?
Back.
And
All right.
Well, that's exciting.
all right, guys.
All right, guys. See you next week.
See ya.
See ya.